Hi, this is Christine. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I want to show you how I made my fabric card. I had a few requests from people, so I thought I may as well go ahead and do a video that shows how to make one of these. So this card is covered in fabric, and I embellished with appliques and little pearls, and it's tied with a ribbon like that. And then I embellished the inside with some ribbon, and I have the little spot for writing a note. So let's get started with creating the base of the card. This is fabric that is glued over two pieces of medium weight chipboard, like I have here, and that allows the card to be more solid. And I can attach my little placeholder for the note here, and you can write on it. So I'm going to start by cutting my chipboard. Actually, I've already cut my chipboard. Make it in whatever size you want. My pieces, it's hard to see on this black table. So I cut my two pieces, and they're both the same size. They measure 5 1/4 by 7 1/4 inches high, but make them in whatever size you prefer. If you're using one of these images from my vintage ladies printables, make sure that your card's going to be large enough to accommodate the photo. So I'm going to place that on my card like that, so I still have room for the embellishments around the edges. And by the way, this one was just a picture of a pretty lady. This is going to be an engagement card, so I have this image here, which is a couple, and I think that'll make an ideal engagement card. So I'm going to start by cutting my fabric. So this is the fabric that I'm going to use. Now this is an upholstery fabric. It's not very thick though, and I want a little bit more stiffness, so I'm putting a piece of cotton on the reverse side here, and I'm going to stitch around. So I trimmed this piece of cotton to size. Now, because I'm wrapping the inside and the outside, I need a double layer. So this is going to fold over like that. So I'm going to use this to measure where to cut. So because I'm going to sew on my cotton side, so let's fold this like that. So pretend that I don't even have this satin fabric on here. I'm working on the cotton. So what I did to measure is I placed my two pieces of chipboard on the cotton, and I'm lining this edge up with the left. Then I leave about 1/4 inch around the top and the bottom, and then I leave 1/4 inch in between these two pieces so that the card can fold, and about 1/4 inch along the right edge. Now, because when I make my card, I'm going to be placing my chipboard flush with the left, I'm going to get this nice smooth edge here. And I'm going to be gluing around the top, the side, and the bottom. Now, because I'm gluing here, I'm going to have an extra little lip here. And I embellish this with a little piece of ribbon, a little piece of, it's actually embroidered lace here. And I like the little contrast that it does. If you want to have both sides of the card equal, what you can do is separate your pieces in two, so you would have two of these. And when you're measuring, you would leave 1/4 inch around both ends so that you're going to glue around like that. Now when you fold, you're going to have a nice smooth edge here, and then both these sides will be the same width. But I'm going to work with this piece. Now, as you can see, my fabric tends to unravel quite a bit. So I'm going to be sewing this to my satin. So I've got my cotton on the wrong side of my satin. So here's my good side. And I'm going to be stitching all around. Now because the satin tends to move a bit when I'm stitching, I cut it a little bit larger than my piece of cotton so that it has a little bit of leeway as I'm stitching around. And also because it does fray, once I've stitched all around, I'm going to zigzag my edges, and I might even go around twice with the zigzagging. That will help hold the threads in place. But now also on this card, on the bottom and the right edges, I folded my lace over, so that will also hold those little pieces in place that come off the frayed edge. The other alternative is to cut this a little bit wider and then place your cotton on the right side of your fabric, sew all around, and then flip it inside out. But that would add some extra bulkiness around the stitching, so I'd rather just do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stitch around, and then I'm going to trim the satin to fit. So I stitched my fabric along the edge and I zigzagged as well, and it's ready to attach to my chipboard. So this is going to go like that, center top to bottom, and then this is going to fold over evenly like that. And then when I close my cover, my card, that's going to go like that, and I'm still going to have that little edge showing on the right. So let's start by attaching the inside piece. I'm going to fold this over, make sure it's really straight top to bottom, and the right edges are even. And your piece of chipboard will be flush with the left edge. So I'm going to push that along the left edge like that. So now my chipboard is in place. I've heated up my glue gun. Now if it's not absolutely perfect, it is going to be covered by lace, my edges. Excuse me. So I'm going to lift this up, and very carefully I'm just going to lift up the edge of my chipboard here and put a glob of glue on there, just so that it holds it in place, because I don't want it to move around. So now I can finish gluing that, and the easiest way is just to lift up the fabric, and I sew around, I glue around the edges of my chipboard, and then I lay the fabric down. And I'll put a little bit of glue on the center here to make sure it stays flat. Okay. So this is going to be the front of the card that folds over like that. So make sure your fabric is in the proper position. Next, I take my other piece and I'm going to position that like that, making sure again it's very nice and straight, and I've got that 1/4 inch between here, and I'm going to do the same thing. Just put a bit of glue there to hold it. Finish gluing here and here, and again just a little bit in the middle. So now I'm going to glue the 2 edges together like that. Okay, so I want to make sure that that's going to be straight, and I'll just start by putting a little bit of glue on the left bottom corner. Like that, so that it holds. Okay, so I'm going to start by gluing here, 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 and here. And also I'm going to put a little bit of glue in the middle. So I don't have to worry about this edge too much because the fabric's going to be folded over anyways. But I'm going to glue here, here, and here. Next, I'm gluing down the center. You don't need too much glue, but enough to hold it down. And I'm going to use my bone folder to push that in. And let it next, I finish gluing around here. So, okay. Now I'm going to take my glue gun and just finish gluing the 2 edges of the fabric together. like so. So the base of my card is done, and it's ready to embellish. I'm going to attach some of this white lace to the bottom and the right edge of my card, like I did on this one, and I'm folding my lace on this side and on this side, and then likewise on this edge. And then I'm going to cover up this little edge with another different piece of trim. For the top of the card, you can do the same thing if you like, but what I chose to do instead was, because I'm covering the outside with some applique, I'm just going to cover the top edge with the lace and leave the other half of the lace just standing up like that. So I'm going to place the edge. This is probably about 2 inches wide. So I'm going to position that like that. Make sure you're on the inside of your card. I'm going to start with the inside and work my way out. This is, yeah. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue along the bottom where my stitching is, and then I'm going to place the halfway mark of my ribbon, of my lace, like that, and let that cool a bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing along the rest of the edge. If I just sort of spread the lace down, it'll adhere to the glue. And then once it's started to dry, I can use my bone folder. Don't put too much glue because you don't want it to end up being a big glob. Then I can trim the right edge of the lace, like that. I flip it over and I do the same thing. I'm going to attach it to the top. So again, I'm just going to glue along the bottom. I think I'm going to attach my lace at the top, and then I'll wrap the edge here. So my lace at the top I'm putting on the inside. You can put it on the outside if you want, but I want to finish off so that this won't be visible. And the outside is going to be covered by my applique anyways. So again, I'm going to place that like that, about halfway, and I'm going to start gluing. It's easier if I work upside down. And that's how I end up with so much glue on my bone folder. And I'm going to cut my end. And now I'm going to wrap this part. So I'm going to start level with the top of the card. Cut along the bottom, and then I'm wrapping this over to the back. So there we go. Now I'm going to attach the trim to the right edge of my card, and I'm going to use this one. Now when you attach your trim, don't go beyond unless you're putting your ribbons for tying the card on the inside. I'd rather have my ribbons on the outside because it will hold the card flat better. So I'm going to place my little trim just like that along the edge. Like that. So there's my trim. Now comes the fun part, embellishing the card. So this is the image that I'm going to use on the front, and I've matted it on a piece of ivory cardstock, and then I just inked around the edges with a brown ink to make it look a little bit antique. So I'm going to have my picture in the middle, and I've planned out where I'm going to put my other embellishments. I'm going to use again some more applique, and I think I'm going to place these like this, and this little flower at the bottom. And before I attach my image, I'm going to have to put my ribbon underneath, and then I attach my image over top. But now I want to plan where these appliques are going to fit over the image, so I'm going to attach the top part of my applique, and then once that's in position I can decide exactly where I want my photo to go. So I'm going to start with the top. And I want to cover my stitching. So I'll just put a little bit of glue underneath one edge here. And I'm just going to glue along the top so that I can still slide my photo underneath after my image. So that will hold in place. It's a little bit stiff when I close it, but it will loosen up. Now I don't know if I want this. I think I might trim this off. Yeah. Okay. And I'll finish gluing it down after I've attached my image. And then this, I can put this on after. So I can center that like that. And I'm going to put some little pearls around here, down there, and maybe on the left side. Okay, so I'm going to put my ribbon centered across the card, like that. My ribbon measures about 12 inches. Okay. Now I'll start gluing this down. And now I can finish attaching my appliques. And I'm going to join these two pieces with a little flower. Yeah. go. And I'm going to attach my beads on there, my flat back pearls. So here's my finished cover. I've attached my little pearls along the edge here, a few up there, and a couple along the bottom. And I also added a few more little roses down here to fill some gaps. So now I'm going to do the back. I want to attach my ribbon. So I'm going to do that right now. So I just line it up with the ribbon on the front. Like that, and I let it cool. Now I'm also going to put a bit of applique along the back. And I'm going to attach this one like that. Again, I want to cover up the stitching at the top. And then I want to attach this one down along the bottom. And I'm going to cover the ribbon with this little piece of applique. Like that. And I'm not going to put anything else on the back. So now I can work on the inside of my card. So now I need to attach the little message area inside my card. So I took a piece of pink cardstock and I punched the corners, and I matted it over a piece of ivory cardstock, and I just again inked the edges with my brown distress ink. So I can place this on my card in the center. And again, I'm going to use my glue gun to attach this. Now I might put a little piece of applique. Before I finish embellishing this side, on this album, on this card, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I have this seed packet from the set, and it has the same image as on the front, so it coordinates, and I like the green and the pink. So I'm going to take this little seed packet that I made. It has these little hearts, which is perfect for an engagement card, and I'm going to put it in the card, but I'm not going to glue it down. I'm going to instead use this piece of applique like that, and I'm just going to make like a little belly band, and the card can, and the packet can just slide in there like that. So I'm going to position this. Now I want to make sure it's not going to interfere when I close the card. It will make the card rather thick though. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. And then here, just at the very edge, so that my seed packet fits in there. And then I'll just tack the little corner down. So that can just be tucked in like that. Like that. So it's coming along nicely. So I think I'm going to attach this piece of applique right there. And I've finished embellishing the inside. I think I'm just going to glue this little corner down. It bothers me flapping around like that. So I'll just tape that down, glue it down. And here I would put just a strip of two-sided tape so that a gift card or a note even can be inserted in here as a gift. So there's my card. Now you can go ahead and make a large envelope for this if you like, or you can just wrap it up as if it was a regular gift because it's quite bulky. So I tied my little ribbon. And then I can trim this. And I might burn the ends just to melt a little bit. So there's my card, ready to gift. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you make lots of pretty cards. I'd love to see pictures if you do make some. You can reach me at scrabandrabbit@gmail.com. Have a nice day. Bye.